What do you need to know about going to golf outside the U.S.? Let me give you a few experience tips next. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary, Ohio's most awarded and certified club maker, club fitter. And as you've seen in some of the other videos, we just got back from Scotland on a 35th wedding anniversary. And of course, going to Scotland, being a golf guy, got to go golf, right? And so I figured this would be a really good experience video on what could help you not have so much heartache going over to Scotland. So first, you got a plan, right? Now, keep in mind, golfing in Scotland or anywhere outside the U.S. is not like the U.S. All right, in a lot of cases, you just can't walk up and go, "Hey, you got time for a foursome," because there is a whole lot of people in the world wanting to go to Scotland because, well, it's the home of golf, right? And so you have to have a reservation. Now, if you're like me, the Mrs. McGolf doesn't golf, and so everywhere I go is a single. A lot of places don't take tee times for a single, and I am relegated to walking up and going, "Hey, you got tee time for a single tomorrow or today," or something like that. So that's a little bit different. So let's go back to that. If you've got buddies, foursome, twosome, whatever, and you plan on doing some golf in Scotland, you need to have reservations in advance. If you're planning on trying to get on at St. Andrews on the old course, you had better be calling 12 months in advance. Did you hear that? 12 months in advance, because those guys fill up. Again, there are everybody on the planet trying to get on this golf course. And when you try to get on there, you better have a handicap card, because there's a minimum handicap that gets on there. You better be prepared to either carry or take a caddy, because they kind of frown on push carts. Although I guess you could get them, but they like the carry. And the only way you guys are riding in a buggy or a trolley, whatever they want to call it, i.e. a golf cart, is if you have some sort of medical dispensation or it is a golf course that actually has them. Most of the golf courses in Scotland that are resortish-like, right, you walk. Get that in your head, you walk. All right, so around here, if you're like anywhere else in the U.S., golf, I live in the mountains, right, the end of the Appalachian Mountains. There's golf carts everywhere, and rightfully so, because you're here, whatever. And you very, very rarely walk. So you got to be prepared to walk, unless you have some sort of medical issue that doesn't allow you to do that. I saw some ladies at St. Andrews getting on one of those little four-wheel buggies that allow you to run up and down there, and they were more than welcome because they had the medical dispensation. They had the turf tires that didn't hurt the grass, the whole 9 yards. And that's the same in a lot of different places. I played at King's Barnes. Same way. There wasn't a golf cart to be seen until somebody that had medical issue or very, very old, or it was for the pro, right? So you have to be prepared. Be prepared to walk. Be prepared to get reservations. And be prepared to be transported back in time where golf clubs were all the thing, where you get treated like a member, right? And you get, it's very, very nice, as opposed to sitting on the tailgate of your truck, throwing your shoes on and going out there playing, coming back, changing your shoes, climbing in your truck, and off you go. They have, locker rooms where you can go and get a shower, change your clothes, show up and be presentable if you were to go downstairs into their version of a cafe or their place where you get a bite to eat, so that you're basically presentable. So keep that in mind when you go to do these different places, okay? Second is, what do you need to get over there? Well, you need a passport. All right, you need a passport. And the passport's just, this is a government thing, right? And when have you ever known the government to do anything fast? That's right. So, if you're looking to get a passport, you should be starting at least count them, 2 months in advance in order to get the passport in your hand, ready to go. In your hand, ready to go. Make sure that you go to a place that you can get your picture taken. You got to fill out a form. You can mail it all in. A couple weeks later, you get a passport back. You might be able to go to a place that manufactures it for you. Out here, where it's a little more rural, we just handed in 2 weeks later, we got something back. Now, it's a good thing that we did this 2 months in advance, because my passport showed up, my wife's did not. They didn't like the picture, too much of a halo effect. And there's a running joke about that. So we had to take another picture, send it out, and again, it showed back up in time for us to leave. So 2 months, that takes into account all those little bureaucratic red tape things that you might run into. 2 months, minimum, okay? So back to planning. If you're really not one of those people that are planners, then get a vacation planner available. That's what we used. It was called Authentic Vacations. The first time we went to Ireland, it was Authentic Ireland. They changed to Authentic Vacations in order to include the UK, Britain, Scotland, Wales, all those places that are in the UK. Okay, and they help. They're the people that know what's going on. You tell them the kind of things that you want to do, and they throw you an itinerary. If that itinerary seems a little aggressive, tell them. If it's not aggressive enough, tell them. If it doesn't see the things that you think you'd like to see, tell them. And then that way, you guys work together and get this vacation package together. So for instance, if it was all golf, they have this all golfing package, and you go to these different places, and if that's what you want, perfect. They'll set you up. You'll have your tee times. Voila, you're done. If you're like when we go, Miss McGolf doesn't golf, and it's golf castle, golf castle, golf castle, golf castle, and we go see the different sites of what's going on. And I think that's fine, because I like seeing the sites too. And so we'll go out, and I'll walk 18. She'll see a local site. We'll get back together. We'll go out and go visit into the pubs. It's a great time. Next day, we're off to whatever site that might be. That, in my opinion, is perfect. And these guys help us out in spades. Secondly, on this vacation, okay, right-hand drive, left-hand road. If you're not, an accomplished driver, somebody that can switch gears radically, pay for the driver. And I'm going to tell you why. The driver, let's do this. When you go to get over there, you're going to have to rent a car. You're going to have to get insurance. You're going to have to buy gas, which, by the way, is extraordinarily expensive. You have to buy gas. Then you're going to get your GPS, which costs more. Use your phone, whatever. And you have all these expenses, and the only thing left over is the driver. If you go out and you look and say, how much is it going to cost to get all of that? And then you go back to this Authentic Vacation, say, how much is a driver? It's going to be more than all 4 of those for sure, because it's a 5th item on your list. However, that little bit that it's going to cost you is worth tons, okay? Because not only, you don't have to worry about driving, because if you're an American out there and you're driving along, and all of a sudden there's a traffic situation, you're going to revert back to your normal instincts, and you're going to get the right-hand side. It's going to cause a bigger problem, right? I just think it's just a bigger problem. Now, if you've been over there a couple times and you've tried it and you can do it, more power to you, Now, the other part is, out here where I'm at, and again in the rural area, personal bubbles are bigger, spaces are bigger, that kind of thing. Everywhere in those areas, everything is smaller. Personal bubbles are smaller. Everybody drives like this, right? And if you're not used to that kind of stuff, it could make for a nerve-wracking vacation. The idea of vacation is to enjoy yourself. That's what that driver does for you, okay? I am a terrible passenger. And this last one, I sat in the back seat. Man, I was relaxed. Didn't get car sick. Life was good. Bobby did a good job. Also, the driver knows way more about the local areas than you'll ever know. And again, in this case, in both cases, the driver took us to different areas that we would have driven right by and never, ever saw. Never known what it was. So we stopped and we looked and we said, oh, hey, that's more stuff. So our vacation got, doubled or even tripled in things that we saw and understood. Places where James Bond movies were filmed, places where the Outlander movies were filmed, some historical places that you would have just driven by. And those are the things that the driver brings to you, okay? So that's one of the things you want to check out. All right, let's talk gear. You're going to Scotland. It's gonna rain. Take rain gear. Take rain gear. Get you some good rain gear. Don't mess around with that cheap nonsense. Get you that Gore-Tex breathable stuff, because what happens, and in my case, and hopefully you see some pictures, it starts out at 60 degrees, 50 to 60 degrees, and, high humidity. It doesn't feel bad. We're walking along. Here comes the rain. Temperature drops a little bit. Put on the rain gear. Life is good. Rains for 5 minutes. It goes away. Out comes the sun. Temperature jumps. Absolutely jumps 10 degrees, so now you're in the mid-60s, and it's hot, right? You're walking along, it's hot, and this stuff is breathing, but it's still hot. You got an extra layer on. If you would have had that stuff that's just like rubber on the inside with a piece of it, you would virtually be dying. So you need to really plan that. Also, if you're going to be taking this walk and you're going to be doing all this walking, carrying a cart bag is not going to get it. Get yourself a nice carry bag, and if you're carrying a caddy, it's just good for the caddy as well. All right, try and get that, take care of the people that are taking care of you. Pack, if you take, and their travel gear, I did a video on the travel gear, you can check that out. And have it in all your new stuff, protected in a new thing, in a new travel case, and you could also do all those other things. So what you could do is put all your new bag, extra golf balls, extra gloves, and put them in this travel bag, and then that way you're not pulling it in and exchanging it all the time. And your stuff's protected. So that's just a few things that we talked about. Making sure you have your passport, making sure you have your plan, making sure you have your gear, making sure you have all your accessories. But check it out. If you got any questions, and I hope you like it, see in the show notes below. And let's see your scores. Go low.